guys, thanks so much for tuning in again today. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to film a video about a new product that I've been trying lately, and it's the Tarte Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation. This is an item that came in the Tarte Amazonian Clay 8th Wonder of the World kit that was exclusively sold at Sephora. So currently this product is only available through that kit, and I believe that kit is sort of on its way out. It's pretty much sold out, but I believe that they're going to be re-releasing the kit later this summer using some different colors, at least from what I've heard. I can't really confirm that officially, but from what I've heard, Tarte is going to be re-releasing this kit using different colors sort of for the summer and different whatever months that it's coming out. So the Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation is a new product that was in that kit that I was really interested in trying out, particularly just because I love Tarte products in general. I love foundations, I'm a foundation junkie, and I'm a huge fan of their Amazonian Clay Smooth Operator Tinted Moisturizer. It's called a tinted moisturizer, but it's really more along the lines of a light to medium coverage foundation, and I absolutely love this stuff, and I figured if I like this, then I'm going to most likely like this, because it seemed to me that it, the full coverage foundation is just going to be a maybe thicker, a little bit more coverage version of the Smooth Operator, which I love. So I picked up the full coverage foundation in the color Light. This came in a few different colors. I think it was fair, light, medium, deep, and dark, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But so 5 different colors. The Smooth Operator comes in a lot more shades also that vary by undertone, but when you're buying a kit from QVC, typically they sort of lump you into a category and don't give you super a lot of options as far as undertones and things like that go, but the color Light was really a good match for me. So on first impressions, I can definitely say that this foundation is a lot thicker than any other Tarte foundation I've ever used. I've used the Smooth Operator, as I mentioned, and I've also used the Recreate Anti-Wrinkle Foundation, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to locate. I'm kind of trying to like rifle through my stash, but I don't have that on hand right now. But you would think that that was sort of their previous full coverage foundation, and the consistency, I think, of this full coverage foundation is actually thicker than the Recreate. But it doesn't really bother me. If you're not a fan of really thick formulations, you might not be a fan of this. I want to just go ahead and show you sort of the consistency. It says it contains Amazonian clay, which the Amazonian clay is supposed to balance out your skin tone, control the oil, absorb the oil in areas where needed, and add moisture in areas where needed. But definitely, you can really tell, like when they say clay, it really almost is sort of that very muddy texture, that very thick, muddy texture. So if you're not looking for a lot of coverage, I would just suggest using a little bit of this and really blending it really well, because you don't really need a ton of this, because it really does provide that medium to full coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the consistency. It comes in a little squeeze tube like this, and you can just go ahead and squeeze it out. It's not runny by any means. It sort of just stands right up on its own. It's pretty thick, and it just doesn't really move. So my recommendation with this foundation is to use a sort of dense brush that is very densely packed, that's really going to be able to move this foundation around your face. The foundation brush that was provided in the kit is this Tarte sort of big, huge synthetic kabuki, which I was really excited to try, because it sort of reminded me of a bigger version of the Sephora number 55 airbrush, and that's one of my all-time favorite brushes. I absolutely love that brush, and again, I can't, oh, here it is. Here's the number 55 Sephora airbrush, and here's the Tarte one. So you can see it's definitely a lot bigger, but that same sort of feeling of those synthetic filaments and really densely packed. So I thought that this would be a really great brush, but surprisingly I found this isn't my favorite brush to apply this foundation with. I found that it really almost just wasn't dense enough and wasn't really precise enough to really get the product where I want it. Like, it would almost eat up, I thought, eat up a little bit too much of the product, and then I would go to put it on my face and I was like constantly adding more product because I wasn't really getting the coverage that I wanted with this brush. So if you kind of want to play down that coverage, maybe give this brush a try that came with the kit. But my personal favorite brush to use with this foundation has been the Sephora number 56, which is a smaller, more dense, precise version of the 55. I just reviewed these brushes, so if you're interested in that video, I will include a link below. But this has been my favorite brush. Another brush I think would be really great is the Sigma F80 or the e.l.f. flat powder brush. All these sort of really densely packed, thick brushes with synthetic filament I think would be the best kind of brush to opt for with that. But overall, I really like the foundation. Between the Smooth Operator and the Full Coverage foundation, I would say that the Amazonian Clay Full Coverage foundation lasted a little bit longer on me, and perhaps that's just because it has that extra coverage that it will last a little longer throughout the day. However, I found that this made my face a little bit oily, and I've been sort of experimenting with different ways of using it. But it did sort of make my face a little oily the first day, and I don't know if that's because I was using too much or not enough, or like what the deal was. Since then, I kind of just kept working with it, and I didn't have as much of a problem. I think it really just depends on what powder you use, what primer you use. I didn't have a huge problem with it, but if you have really oily skin, because it is that really thick and somewhat moisturizing Amazonian clay, it's not going to really be able to absorb a ton of oil. It will absorb a little bit, but I definitely found that I kind of wanted to blot, I kind of wanted to powder a little more frequently than normal. But this is coming from me, who my all-time favorite foundations, Estee Lauder Double Wear and Revlon Color Stay, foundations that are really long wearing, that really control the oil. So I have normal to oily skin, so it is a little bit harder for me. Just wanted to show you the color here. This is light, as I mentioned before. It definitely has a very apparent yellow undertone. And as I mentioned, this line so far doesn't really offer any colors with a pink undertone to my knowledge. You know, like I said, I would just really suggest starting with a little bit and building it. I think the coverage is beautiful, the finish is beautiful, it's incredibly lightweight despite how thick it really is. I would reach for this any day. I mean, I really like it, and personally I feel more comfortable wearing something like this during the work week when I know I want it to last a little longer and I really want to conceal all those imperfections. This really covers everything up. It has really good coverage, but at the same time, if you use less, you can sort of sheer it out. So personally, I'd rather start with more coverage and use less product and sort of sheer it out than start with less coverage. But you know, I think for summer, I would prefer the Smooth Operator, but definitely for the work week and when you're looking for more coverage, I definitely prefer the Full Coverage foundation. Now, I don't know what Tarte's plans are to release this product, if they're going to be releasing it on their website or selling it, you know, individually. I definitely think it's a great product, and I hope that they do, because I think a lot of people really like the Smooth Operator, but maybe they're looking for a little bit of that extra coverage, and it really is the same idea. I would say between the two that the Tarte Full Coverage one is a little bit thicker, a little harder to blend. Again, a brush like the Sephora number 55 really won't work with it, and I found I didn't even really like to apply it with the brush that it came with. So it's really up to you. It's really personal preference. I'm not wearing it today, but I was wearing it in my review of the Sephora brushes. So if you want to see what it looks like, check out my review of the Sephora brushes. Again, I'll put a link to that below. And if you have any other questions, anything I forgot to mention, please leave a comment below and I'd be happy to get back to you. Thanks for watching.